Nothing's guaranteed here. It's a gamble in every dimension. But you're going to have fewer breakdowns with rented bikes than you are buying bikes from a shop or off a backpack. And when breakdowns do happen on the case of a rental bike, they, the company, typically pays for it. People do not always come out ahead on the buying and selling situation. 3 motorbikes have died, throughout the various cities. But sure, if you're a savvy buyer and seller, and you know your way around motorcycles, $500 is worth way less than a petrol to get this same type of motorbike. Your trip will be infinitely better. The issues, the timing, the check, the weather. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Drunk Bread. Anyway, here's one. I want to cross the country, Vietnam, on a motorcycle trip, renting or buying, or for that matter, guided tour. Those are some great questions, and I've actually thought about this a lot over the last many years. And I wanted to give you a little bit of an overview here. Hopefully it helps you out. First things first, let's acknowledge a fact here. This entire concept of motorcycling across Vietnam is a gamble, okay? Nothing's guaranteed here. It's a gamble in every dimension. Is it going to be fun? Not guaranteed. Probably. Hopefully so, most of the time. Are you going to live? Most likely, but that's a gamble. Are you going to have breakdowns? Who knows? It's a gamble. What's the weather going to be like? Where are we going to go? How are we going to get lost? What problems are we going to have? It's all a big gamble in every dimension. So there are no absolutes in this game. So let's bear that in mind first. Now, the second big thing I want to say, your best bet is a guided tour. Your second best bet is renting motorbikes, generally speaking, for most people, most of the time. But, and your third best bet, if you're a pro, is to buy a motorcycle on one end and then sell it on the other. And here's why. I'll break this down a little bit. First, breakdowns. They're going to happen. On a long enough timeline, they're going to happen. Let's acknowledge that. But it's all a gamble. Now, if you're renting a motorcycle from a motorcycle rental company, they really keep it up to snuff. The odds of breakdown are considerably less when you rent as opposed to buy outright. When you buy outright, regardless of what they say, regardless of where they buy it, their reviews online, doesn't matter, it's a gamble, okay? But you're going to have fewer breakdowns with rented bikes than you are buying bikes from a shop or off of backpackers, period. And when breakdowns do happen on the case of a rental bike, the company, typically pays for it. You just pick up the phone, have them talk to the guy for you, done. Perfect. So effectively your repair bill for the whole way is zero. And let's just say to cross the country is about $200, just to ballpark it. It's probably not going to cost you more than that. Unless, of course, you crash it, throw it away, or God knows, some bizarre edge case. But generally speaking, it's $200 outright and that's it. Okay, let's keep that in mind. Now, is it possible, in contrast, to buy a motorcycle for, let's just say, $200 in Ho Chi Minh and then go to Hanoi and sell it for $200? Yep, happens every day. Yep, you're going to find all kinds of examples of that exact thing happening. Okay? So, on the surface it looks like, oh, cost zero to cross the whole country. Slow down. Slow down. The odds of crossing the country with no breakdowns, everything going perfect, and selling it back for the same price as you bought it, you're hovering around 5%. 5% chance that works out. Do they exist? Yep. Are they all over? Yep. You'll find it. More power to them. You got it, bro. Now, that has nothing to do with you. Which is to say, the other 95% of the time you're going to have breakdowns. In some cases, your bike just dies outright. Oh, yeah. Here's a quick example. I was in between Dalat and Nha Trang, which, as many of you may know, is super mountainous and super beautiful and like 90K of nothing. Oh, it's great. But there was a woman, 40K deep, pushing her bike up a hill. Yeah. After diagnosing it, long story short, there's a big old oil leak. She didn't even check the oil when she bought it into lot. Yep, she managed to get 40K, and once it ran out of oil, the whole engine seized. Yeah.
Another one bites the dust, and another one gone, and another one gone.
But, so now, if you were to ask that woman, would you have been better off, instead of spending $350 on a motorcycle that got you 40 kilometers, renting one for $200 to do the entire trip? What do you think? People do not always come out ahead on the buying and selling situation. A perfect example of that is I was a former salesman for 11 years / buyer. And sure, if you have an infinite timeline when you, let's say, land in Hanoi to sell your motorbike, I'm sure you'll get a great price. In contrast, you pull in that night and your bus is leaving in the morning, yeah, price changes a little bit. Especially when they meet me in a bar and I'm a beer deep. Oh, you want $300 for your motorbike, huh? Bus leaving in an hour, huh? I see. $100 later, I got a new motorbike.
Oh,
look,
yeah!
You don't always get the price that you paid for it. It doesn't always work that slick by a long shot. Plus, in my own experience, going with my own small group of people only, just first-hand experience only, 3 motorbikes have died, throughout the various trips. That means the cost to repair them is more and would take longer than we want to pay, and whatever. We can't drive it any further. It's a walk away. Yep, that's it. We've had 3 walkaways. So bear that in mind. If you buy and sell, there's a certain % chance it's going to break down along the way or crash or something's going to happen where you walk away and you have to buy another one. At that point, who knows where the math ends up. But the point is, you're not really always saving money by buying and selling back. 5% of the time, yes. 50% of the time, no, it costs more to buy and sell by the time you're done with all the repairs, the possibility of throwing it away and getting a new one halfway. The list goes on. So, it's not always cheaper to buy. However, if you're a very, very savvy buyer and you sit and find the most desperate sellers that you can, of course, and you pay in the currency of their choice, of course, and when you sell, you accept credit card and PayPal and Bitcoin, and I'll take any currency you want at any given time. Oh, you got your Australian credit card and you want to buy a motorcycle? All right, plus 20%. Sure, if you're a savvy buyer and seller and you know your way around motorcycles, you know how to check for oil leaks, for example, you maintain it well, you know what you're trying to get and so forth, more power to you.
Hell yeah!
Okay?
Hell yeah!
I bought 3 in my day. I've done it. Yeah, it can be done, and it can be a terrific investment. Yes. But average people,
It's a trap!
more than 50% of the time, are going to lose money doing it that way. Simple as that. Renting a motorbike is less hassle, period. It's not zero, okay? There's some downsides to renting. For example, and this is a big one, it might not sound big, but they hold your passport as a deposit. Okay, now, and they're not going to lose it. Like, here's an example in my own case, because I've done it. Folks in Saigon, lovely folks, I'll give a link in the description, but they, took my passport, mailed it up to Hanoi, and they said you have about 15 days or 20 days or whatever to get there, and if you stay longer, then you'll just pay a little more, whatever. Passport's waiting there, and everything went perfect. 0 breakdowns, everything was lovely. The whole trip went great. Yeah, it was perfect. And now, let's bear in mind, passport. Why would you need that? Well, keep in mind, every single hotel you check in, they're going to ask you for your passport. So, if you have no passport and no copies of your passport and no copies of your visa, a lot of hotels will refuse you.
Oh, hell no!
I want to be very clear about that. So, at the absolute minimum, have copies of your passport and all the pages. Have the whole works there and multiple copies of them. If you give away your passport, okay? Here's another gotcha. What if you have some tragic situation along the way? A motorcycle breakdown, you get injured for some reason or another. You meet the love of your life and you instantly want to get married. I don't know, pick your favorite, but you immediately need money, let's just say, sent to you via Western Union. Oops. Your entire ability to accept international money in any way, shape, or form is now hindered. Yeah. You don't have a passport. So just keep in mind, that bridge back to your homeland is gone. Alternatively, you could spend, a lot of times they offer a $500 American deposit, in which case they don't keep your passport.
Shut up and take my money.
Now, of course, reputable companies are diligent with that money and will give it back to you on the back end. Makes sense so far. Compared to a lost passport, compared to not having your passport, $500 is cheap. I want to be very clear about that. $500 is worth way, 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 way less than a passport. Way less. $500, you can walk away. If you have a breakdown in the worst possible case scenario, you can walk away from a motorbike. Never call them back again. They got your $500, which is worth more than the bike, they're fine. And you got your passport, and you can just walk away anytime you want. If they got your passport, you can never walk away.
Oh, hell no!
You can't leave until they say you gotta leave. What happens if you go to their office and it's after hours and their office, who has your passport, is closed? Whoops. Oh, shoot, you gotta get on a plane at 1 a.m. and password, oh no, yeah, you're fucked. Do the deposit thing. Just makes more sense, you know? Now, when it comes to buying bikes, it's quite common that there's a group of people that want to travel together, which I think is the best way to do it. A group of 3, 4 girls maybe, or 5 guys on a bachelor party, or a father and son combo. That's terrific. A group of 4 people is great. Now, whether you rent or buy, I think it's very important to get the same type of motorbike. For example, if you all 4 have Honda Winds, perfect. For a few reasons. Number 1, you all go at about the same pace. That's cool. Number 2, the parts are interchangeable. That's cool. One guy can keep a spare chain, another guy keeps a set of tools, and all tools work on all bikes, and all parts are interchangeable with all other bikes at all time. That'll work. And that saves a lot of hassle. If one guy is on a 75cc automatic trying to putt up a hill, and the rest are on 250cc monstrosities, traveling together it's going to be more stressful than it needs to be. Pick all the same ride. That's just, it'll make your whole trip better and easier. And if it takes a little longer to wait it out to find a great deal and the right match, great. It's a time well invested. Furthermore, if you do buy bikes out there, I want you to really remember that looking online for reviews and stuff like that, and looking at news and history and all this of various bikes out there, you can do it if you want. That's fine. But most of it's a waste of time. Here's a simple way of saying it. Buy the most common bike that you can, okay? So you're going to see a lot of Honda Win 100s, for example. Cool. What are the reviews on those? It doesn't matter because it's all a gamble anyway. Who cares? Plus the bike's 20 years old and it's been ripped up and rebuilt so many times. Who cares about a review?
How about new?
The important idea is that if you buy a motorcycle that has parts that are easy to gather and easy to have, that means darn near every shop that you go to can fix it. In contrast, if you buy something nuts, for example, a Harley Davidson, they can't even change your oil, let alone give you a new air filter or something like that. So the most important idea is to buy a bike that's common. Indeed, you'll see a lot of Honda Win 100s. Perfect, because pretty much every single shop you go to will have tires in stock. We'll have the oil ready to go. We'll have spark plugs ready in stock. And it's an easy fix. In my own case, I bought a Dalim, which was common in Saigon, but I found out is not common at all as you go to other parts of Vietnam. Thus, my bike is effectively unfixable. Yeah! Whoops. Never bought one of those again.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Renting bikes or buying bikes, don't forget about option 3. Now this option 3 I've just recently tried out, a guided trip. Now these come in many flavors, shapes, and sizes, of course, as you'd expect. It's all custom. But an excellent way to do it, especially if you're a group of 4 of y'all. Hire one guide between the 4 of y'all. One guide. That's terrific, because if you hire one guide, and let's go on the ridiculous high end, $100 a day. Okay? $100 a day. So what? So what? You've got a guy that can help you buy bikes, buy motorbikes, check them all out, and is 100% on your team and gets the Vietnamese price everywhere. Yeah. And along the way, you will not get shafted, taken, whatever, however, ripped off in any way because he's on your team. Oh, yeah. On top of that, buying and selling, he's a professional buyer and seller. Even if you didn't sell it, he would just hand you the money and buy it from you outright because you got a teammate. You got a local teammate that can translate for you. All of the breakdowns, non-issue. All of the repairing on the side of the road, non-issue. Bringing the tools, got it. Places to go and check out, done. Find our lost buddy, check. Oh, we are sitting here and we need another case of beer. Sure. You know, you got a buddy that's taking care of you. Yes, going out and bringing, even, this is the minimum, but just one guide with a group of 4 or 5 people, your trip will be infinitely better. The issues, the timing, the checking, the weather, communication, everything is easy. This is a trip of a lifetime. This is a trip of a lifetime to be able to cross the country. For a couple of weeks with some of your best friends. It's a trip of a lifetime. Don't try to save money on the details. Don't worry about the small, tiny details. Okay? Don't try to save a couple $100 because you think that buying would be better and you want to take a gamble on that. Don't gamble. You're coming out here anyway. I recommend find a guide that can help you purchase and or rent the motorbikes and then go with you throughout your trip across the country. It's worth it. He will pay for himself. You get the best deal on hotels.
Yep.
Get the best deal on food.
Yep.
Get the best deal on motorbike repairs.
Yep.
He'll probably do a lot of that for free.
Yep.
If you're sick, he'll bring you to the hospital. If
Yep.
you get hurt, he knows exactly who to call and what to do.
Yep.
He handles all of the bullshit. All the bullshit is just handled. And you can sit back and know that you're being safe. This trip is always a gamble. Let's make sure it's 99% good. All right? Instead of rolling the dice. Make your trip awesome. Don't just look at a lot of success stories you see from a lot of people and assume that that is how your trip is going to go. Funny how reality is sometimes. If you start your trip with the assumption a crash is inevitable, a breakdown is inevitable, you are looking at things more realistically than if you were to think we're not going to have any breakdowns and no disasters and never get lost and no problems. Be careful. But anyway, no matter what you guys decide, have fun, see you around, look me up if I can help further. Cheers!